A few months back, I was fortunate enough to be able to play through Dynasty Warriors 7, a new franchise for me. While I gave it praise, the game itself received a lot of mixed reception, mainly for it being repetitive and not really bringing anything new to the table. Knowing this, I had a bit of an idea of what to expect, hopping into Koei and Omega Force's latest action hack-and-slash, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3. This is the first in the Gundam series that I played, and while I'm not really much of an anime fan, overall I found the experience to be just as pleasant as my playthrough of DW7.
Humanity is being tested. Gundam is giving the power to know.
Right off the bat, you'll notice a cool cel-shaded graphical style that should immediately let you know you're playing a game based around an anime series. The environments themselves aren't all that detailed, but you won't notice as you'll be too heavily involved in destroying hundreds of enemy mechs scattered across the screen while jamming to a rockin' soundtrack. For the most part, the frame rate is smooth throughout the game's entirety, with no tearing or texture popping. All these things add up to a slick presentation, but like in DW7, I felt that the HUD was just way too cluttered, often making it difficult to focus on the combat. Several pre-rendered cutscenes are scattered throughout the campaign that are just beautiful, and the voice acting that you get, though extremely limited, is great as well. You'll get a strong Koei feel to the game when you're presented with static, unvoiced dialogue sequences that by now you either love or hate. The single-player story mode took me about 12 hours to complete one of the 4 campaigns on the normal difficulty. I actually had a pretty hard time figuring out what the hell was going on most of the time, which could simply be because I don't know anything about Gundam anime. Essentially, you've got several factions of pilots who are investigating a strange signal that somehow has brought them to an alternate dimension, and they have to figure out where they are and how they're going to get home, or something. I really have no clue, it was pretty confusing. It's important to note that aside from the 4 campaigns, there are also a slew of additional mission types that will significantly increase your game time if you're a completionist. Outside of the actual story campaign, there are several other types of missions that you can take on, but they all take on the same basic format. A battle gauge laid out across the top right corner of the map shows a team's morale for that mission. You'll push to the enemy base by securing different areas scattered across the map that, when captured, will demoralize the enemy team. When the enemy gauge reaches 0, the enemy commander will appear and you've got to defeat them. If you die, you're able to instantly respawn as long as your battle gauge is above 0, otherwise you lose the match. That's it though, pretty much every level follows those same mechanics. Taking the game online gives you and 3 other players 15 unique missions that follow a different rule set in which you simply hunt down a number of enemy commanders before a timer runs out. I didn't find these missions to be that spectacular, but the rewards at the end were typically better than those you'd find in the single-player campaigns. The controls feel great and should be instantly recognizable to players of previous Dynasty Warriors titles. The majority of the combat focuses around melee battles, but each mobile suit also has access to ranged weapons, rockets that you can fly for a short period of time, partner strikes, dashes, and devastating special moves. It's fun to unlock new combos to unleash hell on the enemies, and it's even better to utilize your special moves when an ally's nearby so you can execute even stronger uber attacks. Something I found neat was that the pilots and the mobile suits are 2 separate entities. You select your pilot, who will level up over time based on their performance and missions, in turn granting them better skills and stats. Each pilot has a default mobile suit that they're able to pilot, but over time you'll be able to purchase licenses for other suits that they can then be used by all pilots. So over a long period of time, you'll have a large selection of pilots and mechs to combine and play. When you complete missions, you'll earn plans that can be brought to the mobile suit laboratory to develop and customize the many suits in the game. I really enjoyed this aspect of the game as it really allows you to fine-tune the suits to your liking, be it stronger attacks, more armor, or faster movement speed. One thing I didn't care for though was that some of the missions force you to play a specific pilot, who oftentimes you have not been utilizing, so they and their mobile suit are greatly underleveled and weak. This forces you to grind out some other missions with them so that they may get just strong enough to survive long enough to progress. If developers are going to do things like this, then I'd rather have the character selected for me automatically every mission, like in DW7. Otherwise, I'm going to power level the same pilot so as to be stronger than my enemies, not knowing that I should have been playing them evenly. Overall, I found Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 to be pretty fun. It does retain the repetitive mechanics that the Dynasty Warriors series has been known for, but beating the crap out of hundreds of enemies at a time and collecting and unlocking all of the game's content was enough to keep me entertained, even if it was monotonous at times. The story was confusing to me, but the beautiful graphics, responsive controls, and simple fun allows me to recommend this to both fans and those new to the genre. Check out the full write-up and screenshots over at ZeitgeistGameReview.com. Stay up to date by following me on Twitter and Facebook, and make sure to check out all of the other great gaming entertainment on the Game Station. Don't forget to subscribe and press the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.